We're certainly excited and looking forward to today's conversation. Certainly it's evening here in the US, but where you are, looks like you're in one of the villages or towns that you serve. Corinne, there's a lot of activity in the background. Give us a quick snapshot of where you're at and tell us a little bit about this group of people that you're serving.
Well, we're really close to the border. We literally drove to the border crossing and then turned right in order to get here. This is just a tiny little, well, you can see it's not very big. This is just a little migrant settlement here. And today we're doing early childhood development, Unit 5. So this one is the importance of play for development for children, intellectual, motor skills, all those things, because parents here don't know about play and using your imagination and what that does for you as a child. So that's today's unit. And over there we've got the kids are being kept busy doing some coloring. Well, their parents are learning how to do a better job as parents.
Yeah, that is so exciting. Well, we're going to come back to you, Aaron, Corinne, here in just a second. Aaron, you've got whiteboards behind you, and you got all this stuff, and you're like you're like the guy that's on mission. On behalf of everyone here that's joined in live with us, welcome. Say hello to everybody, and give us a sense of the mission of the CARES project. Like you and Corinne, your family, you've all dedicated your lives to this. Give us a hello, and what are you on mission for?
Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Good to see you guys on Zoom here and on Facebook Live. Good grief! I've got Facebook Live over here to cover the messages, and it's delayed from Zoom. And I look over like, what's going on? Giving me vertigo. Anyway, not being technically super adept, we've come over here to Thailand, given our lives to this, to heal and strengthen families. No matter how you look at it, from the design of God in Genesis to or from even a humanistic perspective of the development of human beings, the family is where the child is meant to grow up. And our mission is to heal and strengthen families so that they can nurture and protect and build the next generation to be the heroes that God intended them to be. And so it's here on the border, there's a huge problem with institutionalization of children, with other less good things than that, even as well as just rampant neglect and abuse, just because the communities don't know anything different. It's just the culture. And so this family education class that Corinne is out on site with, that is our team there, training in a curriculum that I mean, Corinne led the development of it with our local staff here. But those parents are actually learning how to love their children and care for their children and express love for their children in ways that actually strengthen them and build them. There's in the culture, through no fault of anyone's own fault. It's for example, the fathers, they think that they have to be harsh and hard and cold with their kids in order for their kids to respect them. That's the only thing they know. That's what they think, because no one has ever given any other kind of example. It just doesn't even come up. And when they come and learn and see, I mean, Corinne has managed to figure out how to teach illiterate agricultural migrant workers how the brain develops from infancy to 2 years old, how it develops in such a way that these parents see, oh, I understand that, and I can change my actions so that that's better, so that that works. And they do it. They say, oh, if I play with my kids, if I talk to my kids, if I say I love you, their brain and their body, everything grows stronger. And they understand it. And so we're not going in and moralizing, you need to do this, you need to do this, because we all know that never actually works. It makes people try and look different when they're in front of you, but there needs to be actual deep, concrete motivation. And led by Karine, our team has figured out how to communicate these really, really deep and structural reasons, developmental reasons to change how you treat your children. And it's having radical impact on these families. They think, man, I don't feel abused. I don't feel guilted into this. I feel empowered and have more understanding. And they come and they say, I didn't know I could love my kids. I didn't know how to do it. And now our household is warm. I didn't know that was even possible. My kids run to me when I come home from work saying, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. This never happened before. And my kids respect me more now than they ever did before. So this is a radical cultural shift at the family level it's so amazing to watch when we're here. It's so beautiful.
We certainly understand, Aaron, what it means to live in generations of the same thing over and over, and to break that cycle is incredibly difficult. And obviously what you've just described is incredibly rewarding when people understand that they could be doing life with their kids differently. Karine, you're there. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, not just from a program standpoint, but give us a sense of the people that you're working with and serving and you're doing life with.
Well, most of the people here are day laborers, so they get work wherever they can. And most of it's not particularly skilled, though you can get very, very fast at shucking corn and make more money. But it's not what we would call skilled labor in the US. And so they're day to day. And these women work harder probably than you or I have ever worked in our lives. Like they carry giant bags of all sorts of things on their head and walk like it's easy. And they're some of the strongest people I have met. And they have had so little opportunity to apply their strength in a way that leads to change or leads to growth. They've applied it for survival and done a decent job of surviving. And most of them have had parents who had to do the same, and parents before that who had to do the same. And they're from a country that's wrecked and had very little infrastructure to begin with, and now that's even worse. And so to be able to sit down with them, and I have gotten to teach this class. When we first did it, I workshopped it several times in the community. To be able to sit down with them and say, you already have everything you need to make your children stronger and give them a better future than you had. You already have the ability. You just need to know what to do, like what actions are important, what actions matter. Because if you don't know what high leverage things you can do with your time and your energy, you just keep going with grinding away at what you can. But it takes so little effort to shift toward meeting children's needs. Physical needs are just part of it, meeting their emotional needs, meeting their mental needs, actually realizing that when your kids are asking questions, they are learning. Telling parents that you're your kid's first teacher. Your child learns everything they know about the world until they're at least 3 from you that's your job, and everything you know is something that they need you to give them. That they don't think like that. Like, that is an eye-opening, amazing thing. And then one of the things I learned to do when we started doing these classes was really, none of these parents are, well, maybe some of them, but most of them have trauma, have abuse from their own past, have gone through all sorts of really difficult things. And so it's not enough to just say, here, do this better, do this different. And actually, like, talking about how, say, witnessing domestic violence will damage a child, or the things that they've experienced as children, how much damage that causes. We call them adverse childhood experiences. They score really high for those. And so we've learned to work into the classes actually working with them, not just here's what you do when you go home, but doing it with the parents in the class, so they have an experience of the difference it makes in how they feel primarily, and how they think. And so if they don't do it in class, they won't do it at home. So we do it at class, and it's very simple things, but working on things that make them feel strong, empowered. Gratitude exercises, for example. What do I like about my children? What do I have in my life that's good? How can I maximize what I've already got? Just little things, taking deep breaths at the end of the class, just sitting and taking deep breaths together. And the teacher tells them, you can do this. You are strong. You can be the parent your child needs. If we don't do that, they just walk away feeling crushed under the weight of what they've done wrong already. So we've worked into the classes being able to have them walk away feeling empowered and like they can make a difference going forward. And I think that's been really key. When we started doing that, people kept coming back to class.
Corinne, how do you and Aaron as a team, you're a couple and you're a family, but you're a team. How do you go about doing this? Is there local leaders? If somebody was listening in and didn't know, how do you go about doing this? And what does that look like as far as a process? And then it's probably hard to measure, but is it a 6-month change, or is it 2 years? What does that look like from the dynamics of a family as you're journeying and working with them?
Well, we are aiming to have a full year curriculum, which is 6 modules. We're not quite there yet, but we keep coming back to a community over and over again. And we give one class, and then we come back, and the next class builds on that. And then the next class might be a little different, but we've established some community feeling, and we've established basic concepts, ideas that we can then build on and go forward. So our goal is to give each community a full year of content of the modules that we have, and then plug those communities in also to family enterprise and savings groups, and make it so that they can have all the structures and knowledge that we can give them to be able to change their future for their children, and to make their families more stable and more secure and more loving. So yeah.
I was going to say, Corinne, you mentioned about how little kids learn from their parents, everything about life up until about 3-4 years old. How are other families, other kids, or other parents learning from each other in the community as a way to saying, wow, there must be something different about that family? And what is that like in a community like this?
Well, so sometimes this will sum it up. Our savings group, our family enterprise program coordinator, her name is Ching San. She told me once she went into a community where we had already done early childhood development and positive parenting, and they just volunteered the information. It wasn't like she was doing a follow-up interview or anything. They just said, ever since that class, now when one of us starts shouting at our children or gets really angry, the neighbors will come over and say, you shouldn't shout at your children. Like you should calm down. And so they're actually, they're encouraging each other as a community to change their behavior and to parent closer, more true to what's in their hearts to do, but they're learning, they're figuring out how to do it. And so it's really great because the whole community makes the mind shift together, so they can start really supporting each other in that. It's a lot easier than, say, one family at a time.
Yeah. Erin, maybe you could speak into this. What is the investment that it takes from a team time, your commitment of time, capital, to making sure that you've got the resources? Is it defined as like a per village community? Kind of give us the nuts and bolts of how does that work?
Yeah. And on the, I think on the management side, Corinne, you can see in the background there, the class, it's being taught by our national staff. I've got a couple of words in Burmese. Corinne speaks Burmese better than I do, but there's not a chance that we're actually out in the field doing this. In order for this to happen, it is the staff that we've accumulated over the past, nearly 10 years here, and trained and worked together into just a fabulous team. And so doing an early childhood development class, doing one of our curriculum modules, it involves transportation, it involves trainers, it involves getting the people out there, and as you can see, the setup, the notes, the preparation, all of that. So there's a lot of logistics. There's having the training staff all ready to go. There's having the curriculum that we've put together, yet at the same time have worked to constantly update. And so as we see opportunities for improvement, but the nuts and bolts of it, it's getting people in the field. It's getting people out into the community who can teach, who are equipped and ready to do it. And right now, COVID restrictions are coming down, and as soon as the local restrictions on kind of group gatherings dropped, we were immediately out doing 11 or 12 classes a week, and the team was like, finally we get to get out, done with this capacity building in the office, let's get out doing what we really want to do with our lives. And so it's like that. And oh shoot, I should have had this all written down right here. Corinne, do you remember, you were looking at it, you've been working on this stuff really, really closely. What is it for one 6-week module? Because each curriculum, we've designed it to take 6 weeks of going back, break up the large content into small bite-sized pieces and develop relationship and work with the communities through it with homework, things like that, so that it can actually have transformational benefit. And we see that transformational benefit in 6 weeks. Corinne, do you remember, do you have right off the top of your head, I can look it up, but it'll take what it costs us to do a 6-week unit in a community?
No, I don't remember.
How about a ballpark? Is it $300 or is it $3,000?
I think it's 300. What I've got in my head is, I think we said 6,000 for a certain number of communities for a year. So I don't even remember the breakdown on that. So.
Well, that's a pretty good ballpark. We get the idea.
Yeah, it's about 300 per community per unit. Mm-hmm. And that's working with 20 to 30 families of 4 or 5 people each family. And so that's hundreds of people, a next generation transformed in 6 weeks on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Corrine a question here to answer, and while she's responding, Aaron, maybe you could go on Facebook and let people know how they can connect with the CARES project to learn more, or maybe support. But Corrine, when you think about a community just like the one that you're in now, what is your vision for it? You obviously, as a team, don't want to be there forever. You want to help them succeed and be self-sufficient on their own. What's your vision for this community as an example? And then what's your vision for how many other communities can you be a part of and serve over the next year or two?
Well, this community, their kids get sick less often because they know how to keep them from getting preventable diseases. They know what to feed them to keep their bodies strong and healthy. There's less violence in the family. The kids know they're loved, they're safe, they're secure, they have strong attachments to their parents, they're safe around their neighbors. Their parents know how to support their education, even if they haven't had one. And their parents also have access to financial management, being able to plan for the future. They have a savings and loan association here so that they can send their kids to school, so that they don't go into crisis the instant the work dries up. And they are able to work together as a community to bring themselves up a level or even two, and that they're not desperate anymore. They are strong, and by the time their children are grown, they have access to all sorts of opportunities their parents never had, simply because of the year or two we spent with this community and these families here. And there are at least 115 communities in this district alone. And so you average maybe 20 families per community. What's the math on that? In this district alone, we can make that change for thousands of families.
What holds you back at this point? Is it staff, team, Indigenous leaders to work with you that you've equipped and trained, cash flow? What kind of holds you back?
Cash, because then finding people to hire and train, we're set for that now. We have systems for being able to train people. We need to be able to pay them, and we need to be able to pay them what they're worth. We need to attract competent, good, smart, compassionate people who want to do this. A lot of people are willing to take a pay cut to work for us because they see the vision, they're invested in the mission, but we need to be able to help them take care of their own families too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to wrap up our time. We wanted to leave it to about 20, 25 minutes for Facebook Live, but we're certainly grateful and thankful for you. Corrine, any final comments, and then we'll let Aaron close this out live, but anything you want to add or just let people know about what it is that you're doing from a mission, or maybe just from your heart to why you're doing this?
Why are we doing this? I was actually talking about this yesterday. Because if we don't, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, it stays bad. It's not good what kids go through here. It's not good what families suffer. It's actually really bad. If anyone in the West told you their childhood story the way anyone here tells me their childhood story, you'd be appalled. You would just be like, that is awful. I can't believe that happened to you. Everyone here has a story like that. But the kids don't have to. We can make it so those kids have a different story.
Amen. Corrine, thank you. Aaron, any closing comments from you? How can we be praying for you as a team, or how could we be supportive? I know you put some information about the CARES project in in the chat as well as on Facebook Live to learn more about the mission or maybe to support, but what could we be doing to help support you?
What Kareen said, and what we've got works.
Mhm.
We've got works.
Mhm.
And we see the value and see the need to do more of it, to reach more kids. Every day we see out in the community, we see people who we haven't gotten to yet, whose parents through no fault of their own are giving their children the same story that they had before we can get there to change it. And it's help us reach them. Help us get there in time for a few more.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron and Kareen, thank you. We appreciate what you're doing. And I think we're going to stay on for a few more minutes. So Facebook friends, thank you for all your support and your prayers. And thank you for joining us this evening. Kareen and Aaron, if you want to stay on for a few minutes, I think there's some folks that might want to chat with you.